What's going on, guys? Welcome to today's stimulus check update, stimulus package update, and news report. Now, this is a fairly interesting video that I'm going to do. I was reading some articles this morning and also later last night. I actually didn't even do a video for the evening last night, simply because I was trying to put all this information together. But here's kind of what we're hearing. And this has a very big impact on a monthly stimulus check. Yes, a monthly stimulus check. It is possible. This is something that we could see. And this is something that I was thinking, this isn't going to happen. We're not going to see a monthly stimulus check. Now, I honestly don't think we will see a $2,000 per month stimulus check. But could we see something much smaller that would be consistent income to the American people? Yes, we could. And the reports that we've been seeing over the past 12 to 24 hours are actually pointing in that direction. And so I want to kind of break this down. So here's what we know. And it all stems off of one report. And this is a report that came out yesterday. Yesterday, the new jobs report came out for March. And here's what we found out. We found out that it showed 916,000 jobs were added. I believe the estimated jobs were about 675,000 jobs were going to be added in March. So we actually just completely obliterated that number, which is great. And the unemployment rate dropped from 6.2% down to 6%. However, some are saying that no, this rate is actually closer to 10% when you factor in all the people that have left the workforce. Now, all this stuff is really, really good to know. And all this stuff is kind of what is leading into, will we need an additional stimulus check? And many economists are saying yes. After the reports that we saw yesterday, they're saying that yes, another stimulus check is going to be needed. But will it be monthly? Well, here's what we know. And all this is really good, and it's starting to trend in the right direction. The problem, though, and this is where things get a little tricky, is these numbers are looking better. But better for the economy and better for the American people does not necessarily mean better for President Biden and his $2.25 trillion American jobs plan. This is his infrastructure bill that he put out this past week. And this is where it gets very tricky, because now President Biden is trying to push. He's done with the $1.9 trillion stimulus package. That's out. It's passed. It's going. But that is what is playing a major role into what we're seeing now, or what we saw back in March, which is transpiring to all these different numbers. So here's what we know. The studies behind these numbers are actually very interesting as well. Here's the reason why. Seeing lower unemployment numbers is a result of vaccines and customers having cash to spend in these businesses. And this is very, very important, because many economists have been saying the United States government cannot keep funding different businesses just to keep them afloat while they wait for their customers to come roaring back. Well, customers will never come roaring back if they don't have the money to spend. Well, this is kind of why these $1,400 stimulus checks were so impactful. We know the vaccines, these are still rolling out. According to White House Chief of Staff Ron Klain, he stated late last night that the United States is reporting just under 3 million shots per day. I think it sits about 2.9 million shots. That's really good. But in addition to the vaccines, the customers with cash, this is all due to the direct payments to the American people through unemployment benefits and the $1,400 stimulus checks, which I know right now many of you are still waiting on. The unemployment will continue to be paid out until September 6th. And chances are we could see an extension, possibly an extension plus a phase out, according to many reports. We know the child tax credits are the other extremely impactful direct payments to the American people. However, the IRS says they are not even sure if this can get done before July. And July is when the payments are supposed to come out as a monthly payment. Chances are we might not see this in July. It might come in August or possibly September. So the last direct payment in the $1.9 trillion American Rescue Plan is the $1,400 stimulus checks. But these are almost all out. According to the last reports, 130 million checks have already been distributed. But that still leaves about 28 to 30 million checks that still have to go out. So, what is going to stop the economy from growing and getting back to where it once was? Well, if we don't see additional stimulus, then yes, things are going to stop. And this is why economists and many experts now, after the report from yesterday, are saying that more stimulus is needed. Yesterday, this is the good news. Yesterday, millions of people, and a lot of you, I didn't get a million comments yesterday, but a lot of you stated that you are beginning to see your $1,400 stimulus checks either pending or actually hitting your bank accounts. And this was as of yesterday, which is really good because the IRS said that millions of people should start to see these payments this weekend. So, if you were to check now, check your bank account, maybe check your mailbox, or check the IRS Get My Payment portal. Some are saying that the information has been updated, so you should be able to get some more accurate information as to when your payment is actually coming. We also know the IRS says that paper checks and prepaid debit cards have already been sent out, and they should be arriving very soon. I have heard some people have already received them. However, I haven't heard a lot of people saying that. Okay, so just keep that in mind. But then again, more people get direct payments than a prepaid debit card or a paper check. And we also know the United States Postal Service is not quick to send stuff out, so it could be delayed because of them as well. Now, we also know veterans and Social Security recipients will have their checks in hand very soon as well. Some, they should have them on April 7th, and the IRS says others could have them on April 14th. According to many reports, the IRS is going to be sending out stimulus checks, paper checks, prepaid debit cards to veterans. But the problem is these could be delayed until the end of April and possibly into May. So that's not great there. I'm hoping that Congress or President Biden will do something to speed this up, but we will see. As we know more, I promise I'll fill you in on all the updates that we're hearing. Now, like I said, if you haven't received your $1,400 stimulus check, go to the irs.gov website, click on the button to Get My Payment portal, and put in your information. Hopefully, they will update it. Hopefully, you have some accurate information. We also know that if you didn't get your $1,200 or $600 stimulus checks, you can go and file your 2020 taxes. Even if you had no income, you can still go and file so that you can get your $1,800 in stimulus checks. So if you haven't got those, go and do that because it's pretty much free money just sitting there that you can go and collect. Now, I want to address the report that I read this morning, okay? And this is an article that I've kind of been, alluding to throughout this video. But this is big, and the reason why I say this is big, and I really want to share this because this article mentions that a couple lawmakers and how they thought of the studies and how they thought of the impacts of the $1,400 stimulus checks and kind of what they see moving forward. It kind of brought everything, full circle and kind of into light. So I want to address this. First, it was interesting because the March jobs report is actually going off of the week that the $1.9 trillion stimulus package passed. And this is what brings this whole thing up. And again, it's an interesting take on this, but this is one of the things I've been saying for a while is the reports that we're going to see start coming out. Okay, the effects on the economy because of stimulus checks, because of unemployment, because of funding for schools or state and local governments. These are the little things, and I say little, but even though these are hundreds of billions of dollars that are being spent, these are the little things that are making an impact, all over the United States. And so here's what we know. The jobs report, it was reporting from the week of March 12th. The bill, the $1.9 trillion stimulus package, it passed. Well, it didn't pass it passed the Senate, I believe. I believe it passed the Senate. What was it, the week before? The Friday before? Thursday before? I don't remember 100%. But anyway, passed the Senate, went back to the House, had to be re-voted on, passed in the House. I think the House got it on Tuesday. So that was Tuesday the 9th. March 9th, I believe. And then President Biden signed this after the House passed it for the second time. President Biden signed it on Thursday, March 11th. So it went into law Thursday, March 11th. The IRS started sending out, and the IRS and Treasury started sending out stimulus checks on March 12th. Well, the stimulus checks started hitting people's bank accounts on March 13th, March 14th, and many people received them on March 17th, I believe. Okay, don't quote me on those exact dates, but I'm pretty sure that is exactly what happened. Now, here's what we know. The American people already knew, and this is exactly what this article and these reports are stating, the American people already knew what was in the American Rescue Plan, the $1.9 trillion bill. They already knew what was in it, and this is what some are saying, this is what experts are saying, increased spending amongst the American people. They already knew what was in the bill. It already passed through the House. It already passed through the Senate prior to that week, and then it went over to the House again, which pretty much was just a formality. We have to pass it again. We're going to pass it, no big deal, and then President Biden will go and sign it. Well, it allowed more employers in this time to begin recalling workers back. So they actually went back to work that following week. We also know vaccines have been rolling out fairly steadily, and this is coming upon less restrictions from governors as well. Some governors have been starting to implement the new phases, right? And so because of this, in California today, they stated they are going to now start to allow indoor dining because the cases have started to subside. Governors, I think Colorado did another month-long mask mandate. And so there's still things that are in play here, but this is a big one. Less restrictions, but still being vigilant, masking up, keeping social distance, 3 feet or 6 feet, whatever you want to decide to do, hand sanitizer, washing your hands, just things like that, just normal everyday stuff that we've been living with for the past year. Some are saying that this is becoming easier to live with and cope with, and now it's actually transforming into, okay, now we need to figure out how we can, operate like we used to, get back to some form of normalcy. But by doing this, and here's the interesting thing, and this is what I thought was extremely interesting by these lawmakers, but what they were saying is that this report was done, if it was done a week later, okay? So this is saying that the report was done on the week of March 12th. This is when this jobs report came out. And here's what they're saying. If this report was done 1 week after, so the week ending March 19th, okay? If this was done 1 week later, then the numbers would have looked even better. Even better. And you're probably thinking, well, shouldn't that be what our goal is, for the unemployment to come down further, for the jobs, the jobs coming back to be a little bit higher? Yes, that is exactly what we need. But here's the thing, and this is exactly what they're saying, is that these numbers, even though they're much better, now they're saying that if they get too good, if these numbers look too good, then getting the $2.25 trillion American jobs plan might be harder for President Biden. They also say that better numbers would have proven progressives right. And this is the issue, okay? And this is where this whole thing kind of comes full circle, is progressives have been pushing for monthly stimulus checks for a year. For a year. And I told you guys before, $2,000 per month would be great. It would be helpful. It is needed, but I don't see it passing. I honestly don't see it passing even now, even less so now in 2021 than back in 2020. Even if we knew what was going to happen, maybe we could have got a $2,000 per month stimulus check, but I doubt it. I doubt it would have came under former President Trump and the Trump administration. It would never passed with Mitch McConnell as Senate Majority Leader. So I don't think it would have ever happened, but it's fun to think about. But here's what we know. If progressives are proven right, this would have shown proof that larger spending for vaccines was the right move. Some progressives really push that. It also would have shown that the American people did spend the money on consumer goods. They didn't take that money and throw it into the stock market. Some did. Granted, obviously it's a great idea, and you probably made some money if you threw it back into the stock market, kind of back when you got it. And some people are still getting it, but They're also saying that because of this, stimulus checks is actually helping propel the entire economy. And because of this, progressives now have a greater chance. They now have more fuel to this fight because the proof is there that yes, this economy is starting to trend in the right direction, and a lot of it is due to stimulus checks. Stimulus checks are a big thing. And now we're seeing on Twitter, as of this morning, more lawmakers are calling for additional stimulus checks. They say the time is now. We cannot wait until the summer to see additional checks because this would actually delay the economic progress, our economic recovery. And what we are seeing right now, according to some, is that the argument for monthly stimulus checks is proving right. That monthly stimulus checks at this point would have been right if we would have had done this months ago. But some are saying that we could still see this. We could still see monthly stimulus checks. They are still calling for it. There's I think there's 64 lawmakers that are currently calling for monthly stimulus checks. Honestly, I don't see monthly stimulus checks happening. But could we see a $2,000 per month stimulus check to the lowest income individuals and families? Yes. 100% yes, we could. But these lawmakers say that we will have to wait until the April jobs report comes out because this is when we are going to be able to really see how the numbers have been changing. Because again, remember, the jobs report for March, it ended on March 12th. That was the day after the bill passed. So if it would have been 1 week later, all these numbers would be completely better. Okay, there'd be more hiring for sure, and the unemployment rate, chances are, it would have dropped because if you have more hiring, the unemployment rate drops, right? That's just the way it works. So the problem now is we have to wait until May 7th in order to see the April jobs report. It comes out the first Friday of every single month, which is going to be May 7th. That is why it actually came out yesterday, which was April 2nd, because that was the first Friday. But until then, here's what we know regarding other payments. And this is all going to be key. We know a total of 130 million payments have gone out for $1,400 stimulus checks. There's still about 28 to 30 million checks that still need to go out, according to the last report. We are seeing that the plus-up payments from the IRS, those are going out as well. So those that have only received a partial payment, for whatever reason, maybe you only got half of the amount that you're supposed to. Now the plus-up payments are starting to come out as well. So I guess they decided to split them up for some reason. I don't know. We'll get clarification on that hopefully this week, and I'll bring that to your attention. The IRS is still working on the 2020 tax returns, and you could see a refund check very soon. Hopefully that is the case. If you're getting a refund check, great. We also know that overpayments for the unemployment income tax will be paid out in May. So just understand if you were already filed your taxes, you don't got to do an amendment. You'll get the automatic payment sometime in May. It will come to the exact same place that you get your refund check. And starting in July, the IRS should have the child tax credit or credits coming out. At least that is the hope. And hopefully they will be monthly. Some say they'll be periodic, which could be monthly, or bi-monthly, or which technically means every other month, not twice a month. And then it could be quarterly, but hopefully that's not the case. The worst case scenario is you get absolutely no payments until you file your taxes in 2022, which would be devastating because that doesn't actually do what Democrats were wanting with trying to pull children out of poverty. So we will see what happens there. But right now, there's a lot of talks on another stimulus check is coming. Another stimulus check is coming. We know Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, he is going to push for this as well. He said that the other day. Republicans have really no fight in this. They're going to do whatever they can to try to hold it up. But the issue right now is the jobs report that came out yesterday is going to play a major role in how much additional funding we need for infrastructure. Republicans are saying, as of yesterday, right after this bill came out, or after this report came out, many Republicans are like, we told you, we do not need additional funding for some of these things. One person said, we don't need $2.25 trillion in infrastructure spending. And this is just part of the bill. We're still waiting on the other half. So Mitch McConnell said that there's no way Republicans would support anything over $2 trillion, which simply means if Democrats want to get Republicans on board, the bill has to be under $2 trillion. Well, the issue now is it's 2.25, and that's just the first half. And chances are we're going to see anywhere close to 1.75 to $2 trillion in the second half of the bill. Well, $4 trillion, $4 to $4.25 trillion, that's double what Republicans will even support. So trying to get bipartisan support there is definitely not going to happen. So we'll see what happens, but as always, as I know more, I promise I'll come back and share more. Again, I just want to thank you guys for watching. Hopefully you have a wonderful rest of your day. Consider subscribing so I can continue to keep you updated on everything that's going on, and I'll see you guys on the next one.